Hey everyone, it's your host NRE The Wrestleverse, Eric Brown, coming back to you after a brief hiatus, mainly because the holiday season is a pain and I cannot stand it. But we're back. We're just doing a little set reconnaissance and all that for content creation, but the train never stops, even if we want to take a break for at least a little bit. But yeah, before I get into things, I'm kind of surprised how good the No Man's Land video did. Granted, I've made nothing off of it, and talents to Leno for helping out with the production of it. Copywriting is a horrible mistress, and we must destroy with all our hate. Shout out to Leno. They were the editor for that project, and I have another video in production. It's gonna take a while because I had hoped to get things done with this month. However, work has been a pain. It's been a killer. I cannot for the life of me stop that. And as much as I wish I could, I sadly cannot. So because of that, I am now in a position where I can't do that, and really I haven't had time to really set things up, and then there were other times I just lost motivation. But I did actually record the intro and made it and got Leno to make an edit of the opening of what I envisioned for this project. It's a small fee to pay, but I'll probably be able to provide a sample edit at the end of this video, depending on how much of a copyrighty YouTube can be. If not, then I'll probably cut it out in the later posting, because let's be real, like, as much as I have fun doing these videos, I do kind of want to make supplemental income off of this, and if all my videos are blocked and I have no sponsors, then we're kind of stuck on something here. We're on a gridlock. I'll try to find some workaround ideas of how we can how I can make sure I can still get the copyrighted footage I can use for fair use, but without having to worry about the constant copyright claims and automatic detection systems, which I had dealt with AEW, but guess out of nowhere, at the last possible second, a week after I had accumulated over 3,000 views, WWE copyright struck me. Well, they didn't strike me. They copyright claimed me for reasons, even though it had nothing to do with them. It had nothing to the subject wasn't about them, even though I had mentioned them indirectly and there was a clip used. Apparently that 3-second clip was all I needed to know to prove that, yeah. But the next video project I have for NRE Wrestleverse is going to be about one of the participants in this match I'm talking about today, Fatu and Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes from Bad Blood a few months back. The reason why I had not talked about these stuff for a while is because things have been busy, and I was planning to talk about War Games. However, I had work that day. I thought I wouldn't, but I did. Sucks. Couldn't win in the end on that front, but it's you win some, you lose some. And Netflix is coming up soon. I was hoping to do the Fatu video and have it ready before January 6th, because that's when the big Netflix debut happens, where we get tribal combat between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, and it's supposed to hopefully end the saga at least for a little bit until it resumes again, because Roman Reigns did say that there might be an outline for 3 more years, and I already have envisioned a plan of how they could end the Bloodline saga while still keeping it as a major staple of WWE programming without the need to have it overbloated with faction. But that's later down the road. Instead, we're talking about, like I said, Fatu and Solo Sikoa, the Bloodline, taking on the unlikely alliance of Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, because following SummerSlam, it was pandemonium incarnate. Because SummerSlam, Roman Reigns came back, screwed Solo Sikoa out of the championship. He was almost close to winning, and held Cody retained. That was crazy. And he also got a new theme song, and this doesn't suck. So that continues to provide my theory that Dev Rebels is assigned to make, you can have every other theme suck, but you can't have anyone that's related to the bloodline suck. Because if we do that, then people lose faith in us, and if they lose faith in us, then we lose money, because that somehow makes sense. So, yeah. And also, Merry Christmas to everyone, and Happy Hanukkah, and all the wintry things that we have this year. And the fact that this might be my last video for the year, saying something right before we start NRE 10 as a full year event. But, yeah, it's been a wild ride. But, yeah, let's talk about this. So, heading into after SummerSlam, Roman Reigns screwed Solo Sikoa and then started destroying Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, which kind of wrecked their entire momentum, in my honest opinion, because while the beatdown was awesome, it was like, okay, so the Guerrillas of Destiny are basically Solo's bitch boys. Like, that was the vibe I got. But, like, they're just cannon fodder. And I was like, these are the Guerrillas of Destiny. These are the gatekeepers of Bullet Club. They were once the gatekeepers of Bullet Club. Like, that should be keeping them as a big deal, considering all the impact they had in the wrestling industry. Nope. Instead, they're cannon fodder. While they have the tag team titles, it was like, how am I supposed to take them seriously if they couldn't beat down one guy? Granted, it's God mode Roman Reigns, so okay, I'll probably buy into that. Though at the same time, Undertaker did murder Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows in what was their only WrestleMania main event moment, where they were in the Boneyard match. Yeah. The dark times. But I was interested to see where this went, hoping it would work out. And then Roman Reigns won the Ula Fala. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. I am sorry. And here's the thing. Now, and there was when I was still on Twitter, I left Twitter back in November following disasters. I don't want to talk about that. I'll go crazy. And I already had a horrible month with November. But when that moment happened with Roman Reigns, and when I was on Twitter with Roman Reigns and the Ula Fala, the necklace, I saw people trash it, I saw people hate it, and I get it. I get why people get mad about that, because it's like, WWE is supposed to be about the championships and other stuff going on. Why is a necklace suddenly the most important relic of the entire bloodline when it was the WWE championship? I get it why people don't like that, but on a fundamental level, here's the thing about the Ula Fala. Roman Reigns' uncle and dad gave it to him. And his dad died before Roman Reigns came back at SummerSlam, which was a depressing week, I bet. And this would kickstart what could be considered, since the last time we saw Roman's dad was when he gave him the necklace, the Ula Fala, back at Hell in a Cell 2020, when he defeated Jey Uso in that hellacious Hell in a Cell match. But it's like one of those things where it's like, you get it, but from like a long-term standpoint, you get why it's so important, because that was in canon status the last time Roman saw his father on TV. He ever got to hang out with his father on television, have a character moment with him, probably the only time. And he's gone now, rest in peace. But yeah, and this is spoilers for afterwards, after Bad Blood, but Roman even said that he, in storyline to Solo, that he talked to his father before he died, that he could try and fix the bloodline, fix the civil strife that's happened in this second civil war. Which is honestly a tragedy when you add that element, because theoretically, what Roman just described was that was the last conversation he had with his dad before his passing. That I can fix this. I need to fix this for us, and whatnot, which makes this so tragic. But let's go back. Following this, after Roman Reigns' second beatdown of the Bloodline, the great and mighty Jacob Fatu returned to the wrestling industry. Hurrah! And already people were like, hey, can we get Jacob Fatu here? He's kind of awesome. Can we have him overshadow Solo by now? So probably not going to happen anytime soon, but just stay tuned for that video. But that would kickstart the trend of Jacob Fatu's ascension, and then Solo Sikoa challenged Cody to another match for the title at the SmackDown season premiere, which, if I'm correct, was closing in on the end of SmackDown's run on Fox, which is depressing when you think about it. And Roman Reigns screwed them over, and then you got this moment between him and Jacob Fatu staring each other down, and people were like, let them fight, let them fight, let them fight. And I wanted to see them fight. Like, let's be real, that's the match we want. I don't want Solo Sikoa versus Roman. I don't want that. I'm like, Solo's improved a lot, but like, when you because WWE had this concern with Jacob Fatu. If he shows up, he's going to overshadow Solo Sikoa. And he ended up overshadowing him with the first promo he cut, where Jacob Fatu goes ahead and says all this stuff about how he loves his tribal chief and whatnot, and how everyone will bow before him, will acknowledge him. And it was like, oh god. Can we just make him the tribal chief? Like, there are even people making fan wallpapers. Happy Wrestling wallpaper shout out. Already making wallpapers of him becoming the tribal chief, usurping Solo, usurping Roman, and whatnot, and becoming the tribal chief. But it's just so interesting to see Jacob Fatu in WWE. Like, if this was when Vince was still running things, I would have been freaking out, constantly wondering, okay, so when are they going to screw him up? But right now, they're hearing all the right notes. But when it got to this big match, this tag team match, Roman Reigns and Cody were hesitant to do this partnership, and then they ended up working together. But they eventually came to an agreement at this cinematic moment at the stadium that's iconic to both Cody and iconic to Roman. And it's important for both of them because that's where more or less their destinies began. And it was a pretty damn good moment to see on SmackDown. A cinematic promo segment, I loved it. I'm glad that he's doing it more now, especially what they did recently heading into Survivor Series War Games. But yeah, it's just been a fun ride on that, and I'm glad they did that, and I'm glad they're embracing more of these cinematic experiences, trying to really showcase that they're a sports entertainment company instead of just saying it as a name for the hell of it. Like that's been one of my gripes about when Vince was running things, because he just didn't like the word wrestling, because I don't know, Daddy didn't let him be a wrestler, so he's been resenting his father ever since. But it was sort of like, if you're gonna try and format it as something else, can you at least do stuff that makes it like it's sports entertainment, like a cinematic event, or at least have cinematic-like moments? And it took Vince being gone for various circumstances that I will not get into, because I did try to get into it once. I ended up being mad for about 30 minutes because I kept reading the lawsuit, and I just was trying my damnedest not to glare at it and tell it to shut up, because it was reminding me so much of how cruel this was and how cruel everything, and then made me think all the other cruel stuff he's probably done. But yeah, and that's just it takes a horrible disaster for us to finally get some justification to something good happening on TV. That's been a long lost line of things going on with that front. God help us on that. But when this promo happened and Roman Reigns says, "I'll have your back if you have mine," And then when he leaves, Cody gets in his way and he says, "You're in my way in life." It was like, and I love Cody bringing up how back at WrestleMania 39, before that match, that once this is all over, Roman will have no tribe, no wise man, no bloodline. He'll be alone in his island of relevancy, which did happen because Paul Heyman more or less told Solo off, and then they kicked out Jimmy Uso, and hijinks ensued from that. But it's been getting crazier and crazier on that front. But like, eventually it reached a point where we got this tag team match happening. We got special entrances for Roman and Cody, Solo and Jacob Fatu coming out together as the United Front. Roman and Cody doing special entrances solo because God mode reigns or something. And I did like this moment. I had to research this again just to get some factoids on this right. But here's the thing I did like. So they got the Arkansas Pine Bluff marching band who played Cody Rhodes' song during a college football game a few weeks back prior to Bad Blood. And Roman Reigns has his own band playing him out, and that was hilarious. And I love this moment. I love this thing where Michael Cole goes into wrestling history about Dusty Rhodes and how history could play itself again with Cody and Roman, because Dusty Rhodes had a partner and friend with his old rival Ole Anderson, only for a year-long ploy to be revealed that he was going to backstab him, and he backstabbed him, and it was a tragedy for everyone on that day. I did have a major gripe about that, mostly for two reasons. One, this isn't some multifaceted plan by Roman's part because there's no year-long build up to this match. Like, there's all the established lore and continuity, but like, I did not think for 1 minute they were gonna put Roman Reigns and make him a heel again when they're finally getting that long fulfilled wish of having Roman Reigns be cheered constantly. I knew that wasn't going to happen. I think it just doesn't work for me when they're trying to trick me into thinking that. I just didn't. So, good effort, Michael Cole, but you're not fooling me. I then went ahead and saw the match. It starts off pretty slow and methodical. It's pretty slow and methodical. And it's a long match. I believe it was like 30 or so minutes. It's just insane how long they keep making the Bloodline matches nowadays. I mean, like, I get from that WWE no longer does multi-match pay-per-views on a level of 10 to 12, and therefore they only do 5 or 6 if they're lucky. But yeah. Okay, so I just double checked. 28 minutes and 23 seconds. Yet, the way it felt to me, it felt way longer. Which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Sometimes it works out if they can convince me. Sometimes it doesn't. Like, I thought this was like 35 minutes at best. Probably because of both the build-up and the post angle that happened with things. But as the match kept going into high gear and Roman was getting that OTC moment, I really think this. If you have seen the Unreality of Pro Wrestling by Super Eye Patch Wolf, which is a phenomenal video, it's just so freaking awesome and kind of compartmentalizes everything I thought about Roman Reigns throughout my time. Like, I thought, like, as much as I didn't like how he was pushed, I didn't hate the guy. But, yeah, it was one of those moments where you have to think, hearing Roman Reigns, hearing people cheering for Roman, like, 100%. They're not booing him. They're not saying, you still suck. They're not saying this. They're cheering for him, saying, OTC, 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 OTC. You have to imagine what's running through Roman's head and what's going through his mind and heart, because it's like, it's finally something that WWE tried for nearly a decade to get, and it took a pandemic for that to happen. And the fact that I had to keep reminding myself that's the case is going to make me have a burst a gasket. But we're not going to do that. But I bet it was very proud for Roman, for himself, to finally be getting that long-desired reception, to be universally loved at this point in his career. I'm pretty sure he had that moment. I could be wrong, honestly. Maybe he was glad that he was finally just being allowed to be more himself and more confident. And when it got to him getting tagged, they were amped up for that. When they were getting it, and every time Solo and Jacob would screw them over, and I'll get to Jacob real quick. Solo, I commend him for trying. It's just that there's something about him that just doesn't click with me, as him trying to be the new tribal chief even after all this time and all these promos and matches, because he gives off the look of a mob boss. I'll give him that. He gives off this mob boss look. He gives this very dark gangster like vibe that you could see working. It's just I can't picture him being leader for some reason. Like, it's not clicking with me, despite the fact that he's the one talking, he's the one speaking, he's the one carrying the team. It's just that I think it's because I've been so ingratiated with how I've seen the independent scene and seen all these wrestlers that go into WWE, end up in WWE or go to AEW. It's just like Solo's good. He's good. I'll give him credit, and he's been improving a lot, trying to overshadow Roman Reigns, trying his damnedest to not be seen as just trying to play Roman. But and there's definitely a lot of stardom potential with Solo Sikoa being a major heel for the next few years, for the next decade. It's just that, like I said, and this is the part I'm going to get to, you signed Jacob Fatu, which you might as well just told Solo, well, Solo, your plans no longer matter because, well, let's be real, we got this better guy here. Because Jacob Fatu, I followed him a lot during his time in MLW, during his independent run, and I was always impressed watching him. I got hyped up when I heard that he and Josh Alexander were going to go at it at the Ric Flair One Last Match event. I still refused to watch it out of principle, but it was like, damn it, we're finally getting this match, and that some bitch goes ahead and books that match for that event. Sick. And then there was the feud he had with Alexander Hammerstone, which I'm hoping one day they revisit in WWE, because with the TNA partnership and whatnot and all the drama going on with that, I certainly hope we get Hammerstone versus Fatu again. Especially since Hammerstone is the reason why Fatu was no longer on the other side of the table as the head, on the other side of that table. But Fatu really shows out in his matches. Like, I know at this point in my time being a fan, I should be used to seeing it, but it's like, it's still more mind-blowing seeing big heavyweight wrestlers doing moves that you only saw as cruiserweights or lightweight heavyweight wrestlers do. It's just so odd and like explosive to me. Like, I could like I see Wardlow do it, I'm stunned. I see Harper do it, Brody Lee, rest in peace, I get stunned. I see Jacob Fatu do a swanton bomb or a moonsault dive. I'm like, okay, can someone tell me where the hell this has been all my life? Like, there's just something impressive seeing that. There's just something impressive seeing these big heavyweight wrestlers doing all this amazing cruiserweight style wrestling, and especially Samoa Joe. He's awesome. It's just so stunning, and I have no idea why it fascinates me just seeing it every single time it happens. And then the Tonga, the Gorillas of Destiny come in to help save Solo Sikoa, because during the match, they are really pushing Jacob Fatu to something big. I can tell, I can feel it. especially when you have him spear himself through the barricade, get back up, roaring like a crazy lunatic, get Cody Rhodes into the canvas floor, get back up, act like nothing was wrong, then gets kicked twice onto the table and gets taken out by a table attack, only for him to later get back up after the match. And Cody tells Roman, "You got this." Basically, like, win this one for us, win this one for me and you, and sacrifice himself to take out Jacob Fatu, which says a lot because you would usually think the Roman Reigns would be the one to make the sacrifice because he's not the champ, but instead the world champ, the undisputed champ, making the sacrifice to stop the Samoan werewolf. Awesome. And honestly, it's just so stunning to see. And honestly, I heard they were planning to initially change his name to Kaiser Sikoa, and I was like, okay, I would be wholly fucking for real in with calling him Kaiser Fatu, or Kaiser Jacob Fatu, or Jacob Fatu the Kaiser. Like, just go all in on the Roman stuff. But yeah, that's just a completely different topic. Probably will be settled for that Jacob Fatu video, but it's just so fascinating to see this match from a fan standpoint, to see a wrestling match like this that doesn't piss me off every chance it gets. It reminds me of things that wish things were handled differently, and it's just so fascinating to watch. I enjoyed every moment of it. And then we got to the ending where Jimmy Uso returned after what feels like forever, because it literally has been half a year since we last saw him. And I still don't know why he was gone for so long. Like, I thought he was going to be gone for like a month or two, and he just comes, and instead he's gone for like 5 months? 6 at best? And his big match return, he breaks his foot in Survivor Series, doing a massive dive off the top cage. I'll get to that down the road, but yeah. So after the match, Roman Reigns gets the victory over Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, with Cody Rhodes doing the sacrifice thing. Jimmy Uso comes back and kicks the crap out of the Gorillas of Destiny, still calling them that because it just sounds awesome instead of just calling them the Tonga Brothers. Just seems too generic. And Roman and Jimmy hug it out, all the years of resentment washing out of them, all the abuse that happened just washing out, because blood will always be thicker than water. And blood and family is forever, essentially. But then as Roman and Jimmy were leaving, Cody gets attacked by, once again, Jacob Fatu, because the guy somehow is trying to his damnedest to do his best Brock Lesnar impersonation by surviving every conceivable disastrous event that happens to him in the wrestling match. And the rest of the Bloodline attack Cody. Roman is hesitant to go out and help, but then he decides, yeah, with Jimmy Uso's insistency, yeah, we gotta go help him. And they go and help him. They go ahead and retreat into the crowd. And as Cody and Roman and Jimmy are celebrating their temporarily alliance victorious moment, guess who should show up out of nowhere? No announcement, no tease. Except for one, I'll get to that. But we get The Rock. Yes, I know this is Rocky might be a Pop Funko. I got this for Christmas this year. Thanks, Mom. But The Rock, the final boss, which is also another reason why I can't take Solo seriously as the leader, as the tribal chief, because there's The Rock. He immediately also dissolves Solo's status as tribal chief. And The Rock's with his vest, with his sleeveless vest, holding the Brahma Bull Championship belt he has customized. Oh yeah, that story is a completely different disaster, considering it was reported that there was a plan at one point when Cody was gonna trade the WrestleMania event to The Rock. Originally, it was gonna be like Rock wins the match, defeats Roman, and then gives up the title to take a custom-made belt because he has to go back to Hollywood, making this whole scenario pointless and wasting 4 years of storytelling to push The Rock instead of Cody or any rising up-and-coming wrestler who could benefit greatly from it. It'd be Brock Lesnar to take it all over again, and we all know how that worked out in the long run. Damn it. Oh, God. But The Rock comes out, music plays, aura intensifies. Part of me wants to make a joke about, oh God, how's Red One doing, man? I heard it sucked, but it hadn't come out at that time. And then Rock just does his trademark look, his eyebrow raising, muscle bound, raging physique, and then he just does 1, 2, 3, teasing that there might be a 3-way triple threat match for the world title for the Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania this coming year, which is reportedly in the cards, but that was months ago. We don't know if plans have changed. Like, now there's rumors going around that they wanted to see CM Punk versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41, but we'll see how that goes. And then Rock just does this and walks away, and it was like, we just seriously just brought this guy in for like a 2-minute cameo, which was enough because one of my buddies on Twitter, who is on Blue Sky now, I moved to Blue Sky, pretty fun out there and less stressful. He still owes me $5. Let me just say that, because he made a bet with the community that anyone who likes this post will pay $5 to every user who liked that post. And when it came out that The Rock came back, he posted the Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom anime face of the main character. I can't remember his name. It's been a minute since I last checked it out. Where he's just like in emotional pain, but he's trying to smile through it. Shout out to SGTV Viper, but it's been a minute since I couldn't look. But I just laughed at that. I was like, okay, come on, man, pay up. For real, pay up. Pay up. I'm laughing. Anyways, The Rock's back, and he was immediately gone. He hasn't been seen since. Is this like those kind of things where you're just saying he's still around and it doesn't really matter what he's gonna do until it happens at the last minute? Because if so, then is that essentially what should have been the Joker in No Man's Land in Batman comics, where he did he showed up every time and again, but did things the same thing instead of just being around like in the shadows or causing mischief or having a big plan to destroy Hope, which he does try to do, and is a complete disaster for him, but still leaves a scar to the Bat family and Gordon. But that's a completely different topic. But yeah, I don't know what the end game is for The Rock. I'm just hoping it's not him being the world champ. In fact, I'm still kind of surprised they can get Rock now more often now, and they're still not going to do Roman Reigns versus The Rock just yet. Like, they finally get him. Nope, we can't do the match because I mean, like, besides the Cody one, let's be real, we really should not have let that happen. We should never have tried to implement that. That was a terrible freaking idea. We could have implemented it a year prior or the year before, but we had to get our Brock Lesnar stuff out of the way. Oh, man. But yeah, the final boss came back and then left. Yay. The Bloodline Civil War Round 2 had fully been commenced with the return of Jimmy Uso, and would lead to Jay reuniting with them for Blood Money triple six-man tag team match. Cody would do his own thing, and I didn't mention this, but this whole stuff with that Bad Blood caused, with Roman and Cody teaming up, pissed off Kevin Owens to the point that he finally snapped. So props to the fact that there are things called consequences in WWE, because that has been a myth for God knows how many years now. And now Cody's in a long-term feud with Kevin Owens finally, instead of being a what sadly was a failed feud with AJ Styles or bloodline-related feud. Yeah, I'm not saying AJ Styles and Cody had a bad match. It's just that it was a blatant filler feud because they didn't have anything else planned besides the bloodline, which should be a problem. But yeah, this was an okay tag team match. I enjoyed it for what it was. It probably would have benefited not making it feel longer than it was, because it wasn't 30 minutes, but it felt way longer than that. It felt like 30 to 40 minutes, and it's just insane. But I enjoyed this match. I'll probably talk about CM Punk and Drew McIntyre's Hell in a Cell match down the road when I get to watching it fully. But yeah, it's just crazy times we're in. But yeah, I would say follow me on Twitter, but I'm not on there anymore. I left deactivate my account. It's been over a month, so by now my account's practically dead in the water and deleted from the server. So yeah. It was a good run on Twitter, 10 years, and I'm already close to over 1,000 followers on Blue Sky. I got in a month than I ever got on Twitter, so that should be optimism for my growth. But yeah, this was about it for today. This is your host Eric Brown of NRE of Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse, and the host and the creator and host of NRE Universe. Go check that out. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out my content in the description below, stay tuned for more. I'll see y'all again next time. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I hope you all had a good Christmas this year. Peace, take care, peace out.